So today we're going to be making a really nice, crunchy, salty almond nut butter. It's packed with vitamin E, so it's amazing for your skin and your nails. Also, it's a great replacement for peanut butter. Peanut butter has saturated fat in it, so this is a great replacement. So to get started, we're going to get almonds, and these are just normal raw almonds. I've got a mug here, so normal, use any mug at home. And we're going to take about 2 mugs worth. That's about 1. And this is an oven-proof dish. We're going to put this in the oven for approximately 10 minutes on a really low heat, so about 150 to 160 is perfect. You don't want to burn the almonds because then it tastes really bitter. You just want to kind of loosen up the oils in them. So it's fine if it's like a mound like that. And then in here I've got some pink sea salt, pink Himalayan salt. This is great, it's mineral rich, and I like its subtle flavour. So I'm just going to go and sprinkle that on top for a very subtle touch. Some people don't like salt in their almond butter, but I think it adds something to it. So that's enough. And now what we're going to do is put this in for, like I said, 10 minutes, but keep a close eye on it because you really need to check according to your oven and how strong it is. Great, so these have been in the oven for about 10 minutes and I was careful not to let them burn, just keep a close eye on them. And then what you want to do is get a food processor and you're going to blend these nuts into a fine powder. That's the first stage. After that you just want to get a spoon and you're going to push down the side slightly, and that way it will become a really nice thick peanut butter like consistency. So I'm just adding the almonds in. The great thing about this is you can add it to smoothies, you can add it on top of dates, put it on toast. It just tastes divine. Honestly, it's one of my favourite things. I get through a jar every 2 to 3 days. I know that sounds insane, but it's that good. Great, so that's done. I'm going to take the lid off and just have a look at the consistency. If you've never made almond nut butter before, you need to look for the similar consistency to what you buy in terms of peanut butter. And that's perfect. It's like you can scoop it, you can spread it. It smells really nutty and salty. So we're going to take that off and decant that into a small container. You can store yours in whatever you want, but I collect these jam jars, and every time I finish jam, then I just put it in here. And you can keep this for 2 to 3 weeks. Doesn't last that long in my house, like I said before. But it's really perfect for having something on hand last minute. Sometimes I just come home from outside and I'm just so hungry. I can't explain to you. I just want to grab something and eat it straight away. So sometimes I just get a spoon, eat this straight out the jar. That's perfect. Put that to one side. And this is airtight, so I'd really recommend airtight. And you can experiment with different flavors. You can make cashew butter, you can make pecan butter, you can even mix different nuts and seeds together. And if you're allergic to nuts, the great thing is you can just have pure seeds. Also, if you want to make it sweeter, some people don't like such plain and Puritan spreads. They want something that has a little bit of honey, a little bit of maple syrup. So you can definitely make your own remix and experiment in the kitchen. So the next thing we're going to be making is that really scrumptious banana milkshake that I referred to earlier. It's going to be a combination of frozen and room temperature banana. The frozen banana is something that just makes it really creamy and thick and more similar to a milkshake and quite deceiving in that sense. And then the next thing we're going to be doing is adding some dates, some cashews and some milk. It's really simple and it's great for Ramadan. So let's get started. We're going to first add about half a mug of milk and chop in 1 room temperature banana. The banana's sweetness is, I think, what really makes this recipe just perfect after a long day, even when it's not Ramadan. It's just so sweet. And obviously bananas are great for a source of energy and they're healthy and they make you happy. So next thing we're going to do is add a pinch of cashews. It's just regular cashew nuts. I like to add about 5, but if you want to add a more creamy taste, you can add more. Next thing we're going to do is take these dates. I've already pitted some here. So if you're using medjool dates, I'd say use 1 or 2. They're sticky and they're toffee-like, but it is quite hard to find medjool dates that you'd want to buy in good condition, coming from fair and equal countries. So I'd go for average dates. I'd take maybe 3 or 4, depending on how much of a sweet tooth you've got. And I've got a really big sweet tooth. And last thing we're going to add is some ice. So I wouldn't add too much. You don't want to brain freeze, but add 2 or 3. And this makes it really nice, frothy, voluminous and thick. And I just love milkshakes that have that consistency, I think. They taste like they're bad for you, but they're not. So here I've got a high-speed blender, and I'm just going to press it down. So now I'm just going to have a look and see if it's the consistency that I like. Obviously, if you want it to be more runny, add more milk. I like mine to be really thick. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's dripping. Sorry, I just had to do that. If you don't like bananas, you can try it with other fruits. Just add ice to make it thicker and milk to make it creamy. And if you are allergic or you can't have cow's milk, then try goat's milk, slightly saltier in taste. I actually love goat's milk. Or you can make your own milk out of nuts or oats. Okay, so this is the best part. I get to taste it. I'm just going to check if the consistency is the way I want it. Obviously, if you want it to be thicker, then add less milk. I like things quite sweet, but not too sugary. Dates are perfect in that sense because they're quite subtle. And if you want it to serve a lot of people, or you've got loads of friends coming around, just double, triple what I've said and do the sweetness according to everyone's taste. Yeah, I really like that, but I think it needs a little bit more milk. So I'm just going to add a dash. And if you like the taste of vanilla, it makes such a great addition. Vanilla bean paste, fresh vanilla pods, whatever you can get your hands on. And then I'm just going to serve it up in this bottle because I love cute things to serve things in, and also it's quite easy to drink this with a straw. I do suggest drinking with a straw, otherwise it can end up looking a little bit messy. It's just so beautiful because it's got flecks of brown running through it. Looks a little bit marbled and really creamy. Okay, so I'm going to stop it there. And you can put that in the fridge and have it later on, but I'm going to drink mine now and I'll see you later. Right, now on to the very berry breakfast smoothie. You can use any berries you want, but I love blueberries because of their antioxidant properties. I've got my blender here, and what we're going to do is make something that's great to start a morning off with. It's filling, and you can add things like ground flax seeds to make it even more filling. I'm going to add some oats, which are anti-inflammatory, and some almond nut butter, but that's completely optional. Even the banana is optional, but I just like how it makes it creamy. So I'm going to take one mug and use a 50-50 ratio. You know what, in the morning sometimes I don't feel like eating a really heavy meal. I don't feel like having breakfast. So smoothies are just something that helps me start the day, and it actually makes me want to exercise. I don't know why. I actually don't know why, I can't explain it. When I have a normal breakfast, I think it just makes me feel a bit sluggish, and so got about 3/4 of a mug, and I'm going to add that to my cup, and then I'm going to add 2 baby bananas. So just think about how you're nourishing yourself. When we start breakfast off on a bad note, I just think it just carries on throughout the day and we don't have a great track record. But if we start it 100% nutritious, I think it can just make you feel really positive and upbeat. So the next thing I'm going to add is about 1/2 tablespoon of almond butter. And some spinach leaves. So remember, 50-50 ratio. So I'm just going to check whether that's the same as the blueberries. That's about 3/4 of a mug. So obviously you can use milk. I like using milk in my smoothies. But if you don't like the taste of milk, or it makes you feel a bit sick, or you're lactose intolerant, you can add filtered water. It's absolutely fine. And then we're going to add some spirulina. Now, this is basically a nutritional supplement. It's full of essential fatty acids, and it's an algae that grows underwater in a spiral-like shape. That's why it's called spirulina. If I smell it and I tell you honestly what it smells like, doesn't smell good. But you can take it in capsule form. And when I put it in smoothies, you cannot taste it at all. So if you go and buy this, you can start with 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm at the stage now where I like put in a heaped teaspoon just because I saw how great it was for my hair, my skin, my nails. It was doing wonderful things. And then I'm going to pour in about 1/2 mug to 3/4 of a mug of milk. Remember that it needs to blend the frozen berries. So if you don't have a strong blender, it's going to get stuck. And then the final thing we're going to do is, just to keep me fuller for longer, is to add some oats. I like to just add a pinch. It also gives it a really nice thick consistency. There's something about oats that are quite comforting and warming, I think. By the way, almond nut butter is amazing in porridge. It melts. It's just fantastic. I'm going to fit the blade on top. And then we're going to blend that until it's all combined. Great, so that's done. Sometimes colour can vary, because if you buy frozen blueberries, you get a much darker colour. If you buy fresh, you'll get like a light purple, pinky colour. You never know what you're going to get. So I'm just going to pour it into the glass. And berries are just such a great source of antioxidants anyway. So I'd encourage eating them, even if you just want to snack on them and take them to work. I'm just going to taste this. It's really refreshing. There's so many different berry combinations you can do if you don't like blueberries. You can do blackberries, raspberries. Sometimes I buy cherries from the supermarket that are frozen, and I do exactly the same thing, but without using any other cherries, and it tastes really nice and has this gorgeous pinky shade to it. So I really suggest you try it. One of the things I use all the time is a product called Spirulina. It's basically an ingredient that's grown in water and has a spiral-like shape, and because of that it's called Spirulina. Basically it's amazing in all senses for your hair, your skin, your nails, your body, and because of that I like to implement it in as many smoothies as possible. Sometimes it kind of changes the colour, but I think the benefits that I'm going to tell you about outweigh the smell of it, which is really crazy. So the first time I ordered it, I received this brown parcel, and I was really excited because I'd learnt so much about how good it is for us. I opened the packet and I kid you not, I nearly passed out because the smell was so pungent and strong, and I don't think I was prepared for it. And so I wouldn't suggest taking it directly, but what it is great for is adding it in drinks. And it kind of masks the taste by using other ingredients. For example, if you put it in a berry shake, like my blueberry smoothie, just adding like 1/4 teaspoon and working your way up to a teaspoon and eventually 2 teaspoons in the future is fantastic for you. So let's talk about some of the benefits. Basically, if you're a vegetarian or you don't like red meat, or for example, you may have gout and you're scared about getting iron from those sources, then for vegetarians, Spirulina is fantastic. It's a great source of iron, and in general for anemics as well, it's fantastic. So a lot of people take it during pregnancy, after surgeries. Also, it's really rich in chlorophyll, and the calcium content is phenomenal, with 26 times that found in normal milk. So Spirulina is a great source of antioxidants. It's really rich in B vitamins. And I personally found that after taking it for about 2 months, I started to see some amazing benefits. Some of those benefits were in my skin and my nails. I really saw a vast improvement, and I would suggest it for anyone who generally just wants to kind of take a nutritional supplement that's herbal and plant-based and natural, as opposed to taking loads of pills and just feeling like it's a little bit artificial. Also, Spirulina is really high in omega-3, 6 and 9. And some people like to call these things superfoods. The reason why I don't like to generally use this term all the time is because I think that these foods have been around for a while, and just because we've found out about them now, it doesn't mean they've just become really good for us. We should look at how long they've been used for, the countries that we get them from, and just try and make sure that what we're buying is ethically sourced and at the same time is benefiting us. So Spirulina is a natural algae, and like I said, it's grown in water. And the phenomenal thing is, if you're trying to cut down your meat intake, so for example, I try to eat less meat and try and get in more vegetables and more fruit into my diet because of the fiber and how I felt like I was kind of missing out on all that goodness. And Spirulina has 65% protein, so it's amazing if you're trying to up that. And even if you have like a really hardcore workout regime and you're trying to repair that muscle, take Spirulina, it would be fantastic for you. If you find it hard to stay hydrated and you find the taste of water really boring, the best thing to do is put some natural fruit in it and leave it overnight in your fridge. And the next day when you come to the fridge, it's going to taste zesty with the lemon, citrusy with the orange, or really cleansing with the cucumber. So I'm going to go for some lemon. And that's great for just giving your body a natural detox and flushing out any impurities. Last year, I decided to go refined sugar-free. Join me on my personal journey, Happy on a Plate, where I show you how to feel amazing eating nutritious, delicious food.